Hey guys, welcome to the Ramsey Paul Show. It is, what is today? Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, October 22nd. I was a little confused because I didn't do the show yesterday. I had a medical procedure done, nothing serious, but I was still groggy from the sedative and I felt a little sick. So I'm back at it. I'm back at it. And we got a lot of stuff to cover, including some breaking news. But the first news, wow, you hear about immigration and rapes and crime and violence. And in the UK, it's got so bad with women being hassled. It's a growing issue. They have a petition to have a woman only tube carriage. I think that means a train car, what we would call a train car. So women can go in their own car so they're not hassled by men. Number one, there's the obvious problem is what is a woman? We don't even know what a woman is now. If you're a guy wearing a dress, you could call yourself a woman. And if you say otherwise in Britain, they'll throw you in jail. So this is the idea, not arrest the people that do this, but to create segregated cars. And I was thinking, okay, well, who's doing this sort of crime? Well, according to the Mirror, if you take a look at it here, right here, it's white men, white businessmen are leering after and harassing these poor women of color in England. Yes, they can't resist such a beauty. And oh, these evil white men. It's weird because when I look at the data, when I talk to people that I know that have gone to Paris and London, and if a woman is hassled, it's rarely by a white guy, but it's usually Islam or black or African, an immigrant. But no, 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 no. According to the Mirror, it's the white businessman. I don't know why they didn't put a MAGA hat on him. That would have completed the propaganda. I love the media, how they have this total inversion of reality, but that's what they're pushing. It's become comical at this point. It's become comical. All right, since we're talking about woke stuff, and then we'll get to some more of the serious news. But this is kind of serious. We'll take a look at this here. This happened the other day. There was a break-in at the Louvre. The first female Louvre security chief accused of being a DEI hire immediately after the museum jewel heist. So they hired this woman, Dominique Buffin, to be the head of security, even though she wasn't qualified. But and presumably, I assume, looking at her, she's, I assume, a lesbian. But they didn't put her in charge of everything, even though she was incompetent, right? Girl power. And now we've had like the biggest heist ever because of the poor security that she was in charge of. Woke to blame for Louvre robbery. Female museum security chief accused of being a diversity hire. So diversity strikes again. Diversity, no, it is not a strength. You bring in diversity, you have DEI hires that can't protect your valuable possessions in a museum. And it also causes white businessmen to hassle poor women of color on a train. Yeah, I'm sure that's what happens. So that's kind of the woke news. All right, I'm going to get into now because this just broke before the show, and I'm just I'm honestly getting tired of this whole thing. Let me see. Did I even put this on here? Yeah, this is broke before the show, and I'm getting so frustrated with Trump. And let's just see here, and we'll get this is yeah. Trump has flip-flopped yet again. He does this by the day. And now he's saying that the U.S. sanctions major oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, calling on Moscow to immediately agree to a ceasefire. So Trump, I don't really know the issue with him. I mean, there's a couple of school of thoughts here, and then there's one school of thought that I think may be true that's troubling. Because Trump he seems to change his position daily, and depending on who he talks to. So when he talks to Putin, he becomes very pro-Russian. But then when he talks to, let's say, Zelensky or the European leaders, he totally flip-flops. And then Putin calls him, then he changes his mind again. It's not a good look, but that has been the case with Trump. And concerning the ceasefire, in his own True Social post, Donald Trump in August, when he met with Putin in Alaska, one of the things they did agree on is there's no need to have a ceasefire. We need to go for a total settlement. And this isn't without precedent. This has happened before. This has happened during the Korean War, in the Vietnam War. Peace negotiations continued while the war was on. There wasn't necessarily a ceasefire in Vietnam, but they were still meeting and negotiating. Russia has made it clear they do not want a ceasefire because despite the propaganda from the Western media, Russia is winning. They're taking key cities in the Donbass region. And as I speak, Pokrovsk, I think, is a key city. It's about to fall. That's one of the linchpins. So despite all the propaganda, Russia's winning. And Russia's point of view is, why would we want a ceasefire to allow Ukraine to rearm when we're winning? It doesn't make any sense for us. And the whole process of Trump trying to get in there, as I talked about a couple days ago, to negotiate a settlement, you have to have positions where either side's willing to give a little bit. And in this case, in this war, both sides are very determined that Donbass, without question, either belongs to Russia or Ukraine. Ukraine's been fighting a civil war in the Donbass since 2014 because the ethnic Russians that live in the Donbass don't want to be part of Ukraine. And then Putin entered the war in 2022. So there's no negotiating here. Russia is like, no, we're never giving up the Donbass. That's our territory. They had a vote. They voted to be part of Russia. We're not giving it up. And Ukraine says, we're not giving it up. Zelensky, this is ours. We're not giving an inch up. So there's really nothing to discuss for Trump. There's no reason to have a summit meeting or anything like that. It's a waste of time. It should be obvious. They haven't changed their positions. No side has changed their positions. It's being decided on the battlefield. The only question that really needs to be decided from Trump's point of view is what's American involvement in the war should be. My position and Trump's position before the election was, this is not our war. Ukraine's not a NATO country. We have no reason to be involved with this. It doesn't mean we need to be on Russia's side, but we don't need to be on Ukraine's side. We need to get out of it. Our country's bankrupt. We don't have the money to send them all these weapons. It'd be better if we open up good relations with both Russia and Ukraine, trade with whoever, but we shouldn't get involved with this mess. This is the American first position that Donald Trump used to have. A lot of people in his base were excited about, the MAGA base. And he said, I'm going to solve the war in the first day. This is easy. And, Trump bravado. Then it's gone on and on and on. And now Trump is all over the map and he's saying bullshit that he can't back up. The recent one, he claimed he had a conversation with India, Modi, the prime minister of India. And Modi told him in a call that, yeah, Trump, we're going to side with you. We're not going to buy Russian oil anymore. And that was just made up. I don't know why Trump would say that, because Modi in India, they said, we're not aware of any such call. Modi said, I never said that. We're committed towards Russia. We have good relations with Russia. And so Trump makes up shit like this. And he imposes all these deadlines. That's just a bluff. He doesn't follow through. That's where he gets the acronym TACO. Trump always chickens out. That came as a Wall Street term, but it's true. He talks tough. Remember about Russia? If you don't get a ceasefire, Russia, we're going to put bone-crushing secondary sanctions on India and Russia and China. And India and China both basically said, fuck you. You can't tell us who we can trade with. You put sanctions on us. We're not going to change our behavior. And Trump said, we have a deadline. You either do it by this deadline or they're coming on. And right before the deadline, that's when he sent Witkoff to Russia to meet with Putin. And then he just forgot about the sanctions. And then he met Putin in Alaska. They had a great meeting. They said, no need for a ceasefire. Trump agreed. He put that on his Truth Social. And they were talking about follow-up meetings. And now, yeah, that's out the window. And the same with the Tomahawk missiles. Trump is saying he's going to give them to Russia. Then he says he's not. Who the hell knows? And there's a couple ideas on what Trump is doing. The one idea is Trump is extremely smart. He's doing this 5D chess, right? So he's really got a plan that this is going to work and get everything together. And he's screwing the neocons. So he's just pretending to be a neocon in order to placate them. But really, he's an American first guy that's going to get us peace and get us out of this mess because he doesn't want it to be his war. It's Biden's war. Well, Trump is soon. It's probably right now Trump's war because he hasn't got out of it. But so he's got some 5D chess plan. This is why he's doing this stuff. And the second reason of the idea could be the opposite is, well, no, he's actually a neocon, and his talk about America first was just all bullshit to fool his gullible base. But he's like a Lindsey Graham. He's just a neocon. That's all he's ever really been. That's the second point. The other option, which I agree with, is I think more likely is he's just acting confused and old. It doesn't really make any sense. He's pushing 80 and he doesn't have like a strong position, what he really believes in, and he flip flops every day. And I don't know why any country would negotiate with Trump because what he says doesn't mean anything. He could change his mind hours later for whatever reason. No one knows why. He just changes his mind. And he does stuff that's really divorced from reality, like claiming he had that call with Modi about putting sanctions on or India not buying Russian oil. And again, why did he say that? It can easily be fact checked, and it's not happening. And so all these stuff he's talking about, it's if you were a foreign power, it's got to be very difficult because you don't know where Trump's going to go. He could change his mind by the hour. And even if he reached an agreement, he probably wouldn't abide by the agreement. And I get it. It's always difficult when you do agreements with countries, but it's usually because of their duplicity, because they stab you in the back. Like Israel and Gaza. Yeah, Israel, I mean, like they're ever going to honor an agreement. They don't have that type of values. And so there's already bombing again in Gaza, but that's a little different. I don't think Trump is trying to be deceptive. I just think he changes his mind every few hours. Whoever talks to him can influence him. They just flatter him, kiss his ass, and then he agrees with their position. And that's not a way to have a president that can run foreign policy. It's really embarrassing. So Trump really needs to decide what the hell is he going to do and stick with it. If he's going to be on team neocon, that we're going to continue to flush money down the toilet for Ukraine and get involved in this proxy war forever, which, by the way, we're going to lose. That's up to Trump, but he should make that clear, or he should make it clear. No, I'm America first. We're going to drop the sanctions on Russia. We're not going to be involved in this war whatsoever. This is not our business. I would prefer that outcome, but he needs to stand in that corner. We don't need this Trump that's just back and forth every day. And it's hard for me to take him serious on any of these statements Trump makes. Trump makes a lot of statements on true social threats, promises, and he always backs out or he always changes his mind. And I don't think this is part of some sophisticated plan. I think he's just getting old and confused. I hate to say that, but I don't know how I don't see a great strategy here or a 5D chess plan. So as of today, as of a couple days ago, after his talk with Putin, they were going to meet him Budapest, start to improve relations. But then, a day or two later, Trump changes his mind. And now he's mad again at Russia. And hey, hold on tight. Maybe in 2 days, he'll be on Russia's side again. Who knows? So this is something that should not be our business, but this is where we are. And so let's see here. So that was some of the Russian update. Honestly, I'm kind of getting a little bit tired about the whole uh, Russia Ukraine bullshit. This should not be part of our war. Again, that was Trump's message during the campaign. Trump has broke his promise. He suckered us into this. He can't walk away from this for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I'm really getting bored with his back and forth bullshit. And I assume Trump will. Trump basically is a very weak man when it comes to this. I don't know how else to say this. He gets bullied by either the Europeans or by Putin or Zelensky, and I that's just the way it is right now. And so I'm not. I'm what Trump says on this matter now is irrelevant. He just flip flops, and he has nothing that he really stands for. So whatever. But that's where we are in Russia Ukraine war. A total mess as usual, and back and forth stuff. Like a story just broke. Again, Trump's all over the map. It's hard to tell what he's talking about. And this is about the missiles. The Wall Street Journal story on the U.S. approval of Ukraine being allowed to use long range missiles into Russia is fake news, Donald Trump. Well, they already are firing long range weapons in. We know that. The Wall Street Journal story of the USA approval of Ukraine being allowed to use long range missiles deep into Russia is fake news. The U.S. has nothing to do with those missiles, wherever they may come from or what Ukraine does with them. I don't know. This seems a little coy because we do. Is he saying we don't provide intelligence data to Ukraine about where these targets are based on our satellites? I call bullshit on this. It sounds like it goes, oh, who knows where these missiles are coming from? So I don't know. I think we're at the end of diplomacy. I think the Russians have tried, but I think they realize now. I think the Russians were hopeful when Trump got elected that he would take a different approach than Biden and the whole deep state. But at this point, either because he's getting senile or he's just a weak old man, or I don't know what, but Trump won't follow through with anything. He flip flops every day. There's no sense in talking to Trump concerning this matter. There isn't. So if you're Russia or even China, why waste your time with Trump? He'll change his mind. He could come to you, come with an agreement like he did with Putin about a ceasefire is not necessary, and then just change his mind on a whim. So it's just getting old, his back and forth on that. And yeah, Trump, this is your war now. Enjoy it. This is going to be part of your legacy. And there's your choice, Trump. You could have walked away from it, but you just keep fucking around with this and can't make up your mind and act like a weak old fool that promises, tough sanctions and this and that and tomahawks. And then you don't do shit. You don't do shit. You don't meet for peace or anything else. So whatever. All right. So that's got me kind of upset because I would like this war to end. I'd like us to stop spending all our money on this bullshit, but it doesn't look like it's the case here. And that is where we are. All right, we'll take a look real quick here at some of the immigration updates. And all right, this is in Ireland. Afghan invader. So why are there Afghanis in Ireland? There's no reason Ireland should have to take these people. So he was scheduled for deportation months ago. And so if you're going to be deported, aren't you trying to be on your good behavior, maybe to try to stay in? Well, instead, he rapes a young Irish girl while living in luxury at public expense. And they have this refugee center. And the reason is people like Soros, they want to make sure there's no more white nations. So they're waging basically biological warfare on our people. So they bring these people in that have low IQs and are very savage, and they think it's funny. And if you object to these people attacking your children, you go to jail. That's who we're dealing with here now. And it gets more and more upset. So finally, we've had some of the Irish fighting back and getting mad, and there was a mini riot, and the police were there protecting the people that are attacking the Irish people. It is so crazy what is happening in the West. And let's see here. Some more of these updates here. Let's see how this, yeah. And we see this in Minnesota. Minnesota used to be one of the whitest states when I was a kid in the Union, had very low crime. And now they've imported a bunch of Somalis, and the Somalis have officially taken over Minneapolis now. The 75th person has now been charged in the $300 million fraud case. Currently, 25% of Somali's GDP comes from remittance money being sent from the United States to Somalia. We need to export all these people. All these people need to be deported. I don't care about their citizenship status. They need to go. And this is the situation we're having. It's just outrageous. And it's just not in Ireland or in Minnesota. We see some more evidence that diversity is not a strength. All people aren't the same. And we see this here in Germany. 2/3 of the welfare recipients in Germany are foreigners. So what's the point? So if you're a German, you're having to pay for invaders that are trying to replace you in your own homeland. And what was this? Remember this lie that, oh, we need to bring in all these immigrants to help the economy. Immigrants do not help the economy. They hurt the economy because they typically create more welfare and violence. And the whole propaganda was a big lie. And so then we went from Germany. So we're Ireland to the United States to Germany. And let's just top over one more place here. We'll hop up to Sweden. What's going on in Sweden? We'll take a look at this. This is Swedish Maya. She's 16 years old. This is a girl. She was attacked and raped by some African named Mohammed on her way home from work. But he was not sentenced to be deported because the rape didn't last long enough. So I guess in Sweden, if you're an African immigrant, you can rape white girls as long as you do it quickly. If you take too long to do it, I don't know how long you have to, hold out before you ejaculate. I don't know what it is. Maybe a Swede, you can tell me, but they have a time limit. So if you do it quick enough, no harm, no foul. You think this is a bizarre joke, but this is the court system in Sweden. So incredible. And it just sounds like something horrible, like a parody, but this is reality. And then if you look at some more of the data, and this just puts it in perspective, how immigrants generally, it depends where the immigrants are from, are not a positive. Now, if the immigrants are from North America, means say if Americans go to Mexico or Germany, they are a positive. They add to the economy. Scandinavia, the same thing. So if we get a bunch of white Norwegians or Swedes, yeah, they help the economy. Japan, Japanese people do the same. British people, white British people do the same. Somalia, over the lifetime contribution is huge. So every Somalian you bring over, you're going to lose $1.1 million. And you see this all down the line here. And the issue is, and this is a study they did in the Netherlands in 2024 for people in the Netherlands. So people aren't the same. People aren't interchangeable. We're not interchangeable widgets. We have differences. And I don't think we need any immigration. I think we're full. But if we are to have immigration, I would exclude everyone except from North America, Scandinavia, maybe Japan, and the UK. We don't need these other people who are just going to create problems. It's insane. Oh, well, this is racist. Well, it's true. It's true. Who cares anymore? We got to start telling the truth. And that is the truth. We have no obligation to bring all these people in that aren't compatible with our homeland. So, guys, that was the update today. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.